Hi, this is a presentation on teaching through multicultural diversity. The importance of sharing who we are and where we come from through teaching middle school allows us as educators to use what is in our surroundings to enhance the lessons and bring the children of different cultures together as one. This is a very important aspect of middle school and high school children. They're at stages where they want to belong and understand and be understood. And I feel that in a classroom, this can be obtained and they can learn about one another in many ways. A teacher's goal is to provide the best education possible to every child in their classroom. It is important to be aware of the cultural differences that exist within the students in one's class. It is important to understand the child's home experiences and expectations in order to build an academic surrounding and expectation that the child can meet through contextualized instruction. This can be met. We as educators just need to make adjustments and changes in our styles and have to understand sometimes we have to have multiple styles in teaching children. Again, middle school and high school, the children have more to say. They're more responsive. They want to be a part of what's going on. There will be children in need of special services due to disabilities or learning challenges, and through multicultural lesson plans, everyone can join in and learn about each other. I've chosen to show how teaching one another where we come from can be done through a multiple subject lesson plan. This can be featured over a week or even a month's time. I begin with social studies, multicultural festivities that can be held in the class to cover the diversity of one's culture. Easily we can have various cultures within the classroom, some being of Spanish, Chinese, or West Indian descent, and the children can bring in dishes on these from their culture and share with the classroom some of the things they like the most or some of the most unique things they believe come from their culture. Another area is history, sharing the facts of war to reveal that all cultures have had times of suffering. War is something that has happened in every single piece of land on this earth. We have the Chinese Opium War, Spanish American War, and the West Indies, the fight to control the West Indies. These are wars that some children may have never learned about. They're not in the textbooks. But in researching and studying their own history, they can find it and then share it with the class through technology. Seeing how a daily necessity holds the same value but looks different through currency is another feature that can be used. For math, you share the differences in the money from one's country, having a sample money exchange in class, crossing the exchanges among cultures. The children can either bring in money from their country, or they can research online and bring in samples of what it looks like, what the money looks like. And as a group project, as a class assignment, they can get together and do money exchange, do research online, bringing in technology, and allow the children to find out what the money exchange amongst each other between cultures and countries and then the states would be. You can also hold a class trip to the New York Exchange. Very different ways you can incorporate. Finally, we have learning about one another through literature. Literacy, a review of sample poetry from different authors of different cultures and share the expressions used in one's language is one way of bringing in the poetry. You have Spain, you have Tobago, and you have from China. These different poets have written things small and large across the board, very different, but it can be merged together. And it can be given to the children and they can read the translated into English versions, and they can share either similarities of what they've learned about literature and literacy, creative writing in their classrooms, share the differences, the similarities, try to create something off of one of these works. Again, these lesson can take place in one day, or take place over the course of a week or a month, kind of domino affecting off of one another, continuing throughout the semester to help the children in the class gain knowledge on one another's culture and bringing them together. Here we have the poet from Spain that would be given to the children, and afterwards the translation would be given to the children so that they can compare the design and the style with other poems that they may have recently learned about. Very same thing with Tobago. No translation needed because it is in English already. And here we have poetry from China with the translation and the actual poem in Chinese literature, written text, so that the children can see the difference in the language alone and compare how it is in the English print and the Chinese print as a group. The sample lesson plan, first page I have here, is Trip Around the World. Lesson plan title, I have the concept, topic to teach, general goals, specific objectives, the required materials, step-by-step procedures, closure, assessment. And then we have the second page, which completes the lesson plan with adaptations for students with learning disabilities. You could easily take a child with auditory difficulties and have them receive an in-depth written explanation of what we'll be doing, what will be going on, and with assistance they can participate. A child with behavioral disorders can have that additional guidance in the class during the activities so that they can participate appropriately. A child with learning disabilities or physical challenges can participate with guided assistance as well. They will be allowed to show their reactions, and the parents will be communicated to in order to have them send in and share the foods for the particular Trip Around the World event. You have extensions for gifted students so that they don't become easily bored or feel that this was a very simplified activity. They can be given the opportunity to advance their submitted lessons to areas not required by the teacher. They can join together and provide a collage of the submitted materials and introduce the class a joint project. They can feel that they're taking a special part in the project overall and enhancing it with their knowledge and their abilities. The possible connections to the subjects are math, social studies, literacy. Quite sure there's many more areas that can be connected. But overall, this particular lesson plan and these particular projects can be one-day lessons, week-long lessons, or monthly lessons that can bring the multicultural diversity of a middle school or high school classroom, bring the children together, get them to laugh and smile at one another, and teach one another. They're taking control of their own education as well as sharing and becoming social with one another. This, I believe, is one way that we can minimize the diversity and the rejections within middle school and high school grade levels.